latest twist to the Orlando massacre. The worst terror strike on American soil since 9/11 has really shattered the world. Remember, more than 50 people were killed and many wounded after an American-born ISIS sympathizer opened fire in a gay nightclub in Orlando. Joining me now is Praveen Swami, National Editor, Strategic and International Affairs at the Indian Express, who's actually tracked the Islamic State's growth in India as well. Daniel Benjamin, Director at the Dickey Center at Dartmouth College and former Ambassador at Large and Coordinator for Counter-Terrorism at the US State Department, joins me from Washington. Appreciate your joining us. Let me come to you first there in Washington, sir. Mr. Benjamin, your sense a day after this Orlando shootout. Are you convinced that this is ISIS at work, or do you believe this is a lone wolf who was inspired by ISIS?
I think that all indications right now point to him being a lone wolf who claimed during a call to emergency authorities during the shooting that he was pledging allegiance to ISIS then and there. And there's no indication from any of ISIS's statements that they had any previous knowledge of this individual, and I think that they have just claimed him as one of their own in the aftermath. So I do think that this is in keeping with a number of events we've seen in the United States involving lone wolves and some in Europe as well, and I don't believe that this person had a long-standing connection with ISIS.
What does the US administration or indeed counter-terrorism forces in the United States do in an incident like this? 9/11, you were clear who the enemy was, you could go target it, take out an Osama bin Laden, but what do you do here? A US-based an American citizen of Afghan origin commits an act like this. Who do you target? Who is going to be seen as the target? How do you settle and ensure that something that happened in Orlando doesn't happen again?
Well, it's a very, very great challenge for American intelligence and law enforcement. We have seen time and again that these lone wolf operators who do not communicate their ideas with others, and especially do not post on social media, or who do not talk about it on the telephone or an email, are very, very hard to find. And in fact, observing the step from extremist ideas to what we call radicalization to violence is profoundly difficult to identify. And the best hope that we have really is excellent community relations with Muslim communities within the United States, because those are most likely to be the people who will detect whether something is off with an individual. Right. And that's why it's so vitally important right now not to alienate Muslims living in the United States. They have to feel that they can trust the authorities, and that their information won't be abused or turned back against them in any way. And I think they have to really feel that they are at home in this country and that they're an integral part of our society. Right. And obviously that's a challenging thing at a moment when we're having a national campaign in which there's so much Islamophobia being voiced.
That's right. That's the worry. In an election year with Islamophobia at its peak, and perhaps even in this country, how do you then deal with a situation like this? I mean, how are our agencies going to deal with situations that are emerging?
Yeah, lots of lessons, I think, to be learnt in India from this. If you look at the crop of young people who've gone off to join the Islamic State, it's not the sort of, madrasa-educated fanatic of stereotype discussions. It's young people from secularized backgrounds, often professionally successful, with a notional interest in religion. These are young Muslims who've done professionally very well, but who encounter discrimination of terrible kinds. They find they can't rent an apartment in a Hindu majority neighborhood. They find that, the Indian secular dream is great till it comes to finding a house or trying to live the kind of life that their Hindu compatriots can. And these are the kinds of things that breed resentment, breed discrimination, and breed a ghetto of the mind, if you like, and lead small numbers of people, very small numbers of people down a violent path. It's something that I wish our political leaders and our society as a whole was doing some soul searching about. From Mr. Dickey's words, we know this soul searching is happening in America. Maybe it's time for some of us to start doing it as well.
That's right, and that is really the worry. Time for some soul searching. What happened in Orlando sadly could happen in any part of the world tomorrow, and that really is the fear. I appreciate, sir, you're joining us there from Washington. Praveen Swami, it's always a pleasure having you here and giving us a sense of what this means really for India as well.